Hello and welcome to ASPA's podcast. My name is Anna Weber and I am ASPA's marketing coordinator. With me today, I have Dr. Monica Schroeder, who's the Deputy Superintendent of North Shore School District 112 in Highland Park, Illinois. She also serves on our executive board as our Region 2 representative. Monica, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you mind sharing just a little bit about yourself with our audience? Because you are so smart and so good at your job. I just want them to know all of the great stuff that you do.
Thanks. I'm so excited to join you this morning, Anna. As you mentioned, I'm Monica Schroeder. I have been here in Highland Park, Illinois for, 18 years. I am so fortunate to have my entire administrative career in one organization. So I've really held many different roles. I was first an associate principal at a middle school, then I was a middle school principal, and then I was an assistant superintendent of HR. And now I'm currently the deputy superintendent, where I have held this role for I'm going into year 9, which is hard to believe, in North Shore School District 112. We are a pre-K 9, scratch that.
Yeah.
We're a pre-K 8 district. Along the North Shore of Chicago. We're 35 minutes north of downtown Chicago, and it's a great lakeshore community. We have 9 schools. We have elementary buildings, 7 of them, and 2 middle schools. We have recently renovated our 2 middle schools, so we put $75 million into them. They're absolutely gorgeous. And last November, we had a 72% voter approval rate for a $114.4 million referendum. So we are pouring money into our elementaries next, and we're renovating them. And so we have a lot of really great things going on in our school district. And I have been fortunate enough to be here to see it all kind of come to fruition, from the planning stages to now construction. And there's just a lot of great things happening in our district right now.
That is amazing. And I think your district office got remodeled recently too. I remember you showing me a picture and it looked amazing.
Yeah, thanks. You know what? This is so wild. So our construction plans are really aggressive. So we actually right now are going to be renovating 2 elementaries at a time. A couple years back, we closed a middle school, so that's being used as a swing site. And then our district office, we moved into a leased building in Highwood, Illinois. And so it's kind of fun to be renters, where you don't have to have like that ownership piece. So we moved into an office building. We love it. We're located in a fun downtown area with great like restaurants. And we love like the small business owners here that are our own community members. And we're in a town with a lot of like fun festivals. Like we've got Bloody Mary Fest, and we have Garlic Fest, and we have a Pumpkin Fest. So we really have embraced the community here. And we just feel so fortunate to be able to be in a true office building now all together.
That is awesome. That is so cool. So Monica, you and I are going to chat a little bit about branding and social media today, which I'm so excited about. On these podcasts, I have like a base level knowledge of, FMLA, but sometimes when I host these podcasts, I don't feel like I get to interact as much, but I feel like today I'll get to have lots of feedback to some of your answers to my questions, because as the marketing coordinator, this is kind of what I do. So let's just get started. What social media platforms do you use to recruit?
Love it. So I am big on Twitter, or I should now refer to as X.
The social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yes. So that is my preferred platform. I do post also on LinkedIn. That's been like my goal, to try to post there more often. I just find Twitter super easy for me to post. Not that's to say that LinkedIn is not easy. It's just like my preferred. And then we also do have an Instagram that we also have become more active on. As a district, we also have a Facebook post. I personally have never had Facebook. I'm like one of those few people that have never used that social media platform. So I have nothing to do with that. But as a district, we use all of those platforms. I prefer Twitter, formerly, the formerly Twitter, now X.
And do you feel like there's a certain social media platform that draws for certain positions? Like if you're looking for like a kindergarten teacher, do you think that Instagram's a better platform, or things like that?
So that is really interesting. We do a survey every year of our staff, our new staff, to find out like, how did you hear about us? Because that's what I want to know. Like, I want to like obviously like target our audience to know where they learned first about us. I haven't had one source. I will tell you, a lot of this is word of mouth about our position. So it's the internal and external stories that we tell. So we'll talk a little bit about storytelling today. I think that's big. And then they are then look us up and they find that we have, while we have our North Shore School District website, we also have a site that's linked to that is careers, nssd.org. And that is where we like people land to learn more about our school district. What we've learned is, yes, they do go on Twitter because they start to search us. LinkedIn, although a lot of people will say like their parents might have seen something on LinkedIn. So that's where they will hear about us. Instagram too, but really it is a lot of our survey results are coming in that they hear more about it through word of mouth and through just searching us and finding our website.
Yeah, I feel like LinkedIn is like the more formal option. And on Twitter, you get to be like fun and cool, but on Twitter, or on LinkedIn, you have to be like very formal and buttoned up, is how I feel. So I'm sure other people feel the same way. So let's talk a little bit about branding, which is one of my very favorite topics. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I love to talk about branding because obviously we know it's more than just, a logo, right? The logo could go so far. So you do want to have an awesome logo. And like, I love like 100%, like when you took over marketing, I'm like, yep, you've made your mark. Like, I know like the ASPA logo now, it's crisp and it's awesome. So I think like it is important to have a logo that's recognizable, that people know, it's kind of like Coca-Cola, right? Everyone knows, when you see that red, like font and that script, font, exactly what we're talking about. But I think the logo is important, but it's more about like the brand. Like, what does that mean? Like, what are you about? And so like in our school district, like I want to be known for a place that is a positive culture, that really is inclusive, that really is a, leaders. So like with our brand, we also, we use our hashtag all the time, hashtag 112 leads, because we feel like it's really important that we're not just building, administrative leaders, we're also building teacher leaders, we're building student leaders. So I think it's really important to kind of think about like in your brand, like what are you about and communicating that. As I mentioned, the logo is important. I also think it's important to know like what's your font color, kind of like, like we have a beautiful shade of blue, but I joke there's like so many different shades of blue. Like what blue are we? So it's really identifying who you are and then communicating that in a concise and clear manner.
I agree. And I'm sure it's probably important for school districts too. You have to really be consistent and build that sort of brand recognition. And the more you build that brand recognition, I think the stronger people's feelings are about like, yes, this is an inclusive organization. This is an organization that leads the way for other leaders. So I agree with you. I love that take. How do you share your organization's stories?
I love that question. Many ways. One of them I would say is through video. So if you actually go to our website, you'll see like we have this whole series called Meet 112, and we interview staff members. And I think it's really important to hear from the voices of our staff what it's like to work here. We also have people who have actually gone to school here, so they're alums and they've returned. So I love those stories. And then not only do we put them on our sites, we also blast that on social media as well. We use Twitter to really communicate a lot of our stories because we have so much construction going on. We're about to kick back up. We're about to break ground in one of our buildings. So we'll start pushing out hashtag Facility Friday stories so that people know like what's going on with our facilities. But then I think every single time that we select an employee, we put it out on social media. People get super excited and inspired by the new staff that we're hiring. So we put that out. But I think it's really important that like if you don't tell your story, someone else is going to tell your story. So I think it's really important to have those like internal stories shared outside as well, because people need to know about them. So we, also like take time to make sure that we explain things to our principals about the why. Like, I think when we come to like right now, it's recruiting season, right? And people are talking about like hiring. Well, here in District 112, we select staff. And so we talk about like our selection process, and we want even our new administrators to understand how we like select staff. And so as we invite our teachers to participate in the selection process, we kind of let them know like what's gone into all of this. And so as people apply, they feel like they're a part of something really special because they weren't just hired here, they were actually selected to be part of our team.
That is a great way of phrasing that. I really like that you talked about video. I was at a conference earlier this week, and in one of the sessions, they said that video marketing and using video on your website and social media is so important because people on average watch 17 hours of video a week, which was so crazy to me when I heard that. And I was like, I'm so glad that we've started implementing video. So I love hearing that you are implementing video too, because it's what people want now. And I think makes you look like you know what you're doing. They understand their brand. And I love that you're sharing alumni stories. I think that is so cool.
So Anna, really quick, because I was not a marketing major. Like I went into education. I just have a lot of ideas. So I partner with our directors of communication to kind of like share my vision. I don't know what this is called, but we actually had someone create a video. It's like a storyboard when like someone has like a marker and they tell the story of our district and they're like drawing it out, like sketching it out. I don't know what the term is, but we actually posted a 30-second video kind of promoting our district. The number of views and hits is incredible based on that little like story about like someone joining our organization. And it just went such a long way. And it was just such a great investment because I can't remember, we spent a couple grand on it, but it is like literally come out like tenfold in terms of like the talk and the amount of views from just that video.
I was with our state leaders a few weeks ago sharing some of my marketing tips and tricks with them. And I told them you have to include media in all of your posts because it's like a 70% increase or something like that in the engagement rate when you include media versus when you don't. It's crazy.
Well, it's interesting you say that because one of the things we're talking about the stories, I had this crazy idea. I love dogs. Those people that know me know I'm a crazy dog mama. I have Walter Payton, our Shih Tzu, and I post pictures about him. So I started the hashtag dogs of 112 leads. And so I post about my dog and other dogs in our organization. And it is unbelievable. Like to your point, like you put a picture up of a dog and like people will
Everybody likes that post.
Yeah, so I know so many of our staff members' dogs' names. When I walk into the building, they ask me about Walter. People from other organizations sometimes reply to my post, like I'll put something out, this is what Walter's doing this weekend. What are you doing? And it's so fun to see, like sometimes our attorneys respond, other organizations, but it is wild that you put a picture of a dog and you throw our hashtag and the amount of views and responses we get is incredible.
Maybe we need hashtag dogs of ASPA because the ASPA staff we all have dogs and sometimes the dogs are in the office. Not today, no dogs, but frequently there's a dog here. So we maybe need to get on that.
I'd take it even a step farther. I would do hashtag pets of ASPA.
Pets of ASPA. That's even better.
I think that'd be huge at the conference. Like everyone's going to be posting about their pets. You might even see some pet lizards.
I'll have to put that in my marketing strategy for conference. So speaking of that, people love swag. ASPA actually is in the process of getting some swag to sell at conference this year. Let's chat about how you use swag to recruit and recognize people.
So the challenge for us in our organization is we have 9 buildings and, like there are school districts like ours that are a lot bigger. And people used to really be attached to their like school mascot or that school's like own brand. So when I came into this role, I'm like, I really want us to be known as North Shore School District 112, NSSD 112. And so one way to really push your brand is to unify it through swag. OMG, we have so much swag here. You won't even believe it. Like we've done like trucker hats where it looks like, that Von Dutch, look, the script. And we've done that. We've given that to staff. They love it. Cool. Like it's so fun. Like we even have like people's spouses that are like, okay, they're now wearing our trucker hats. We have done picnic blankets with our logo and we are located right next door to Ravinia Festival. That's this beautiful outdoor fest, like we're from a music venue. And so for one of our teacher appreciation gifts, we gave the picnic blankets with our logo. And then our foundation gave tickets to Ravinia Festival. So we kind of did an experience. So anytime like we could think about like, promoting our district's brand through our logo, through swag, we do. Another thought that we've done is our recognition of staff. I really didn't want something where it was like, oh, we're giving them, like a apple to put on their desk. So when we recognized for service years, we just started last year, for those milestone years, we have done things where it's like for, 15 years, we give a Yeti tumbler, and then we have like 15 years of service in our logo. For 10 years of service, we came up with a really cool bag with hashtag 112 leads throughout it. So like we were really intentional that each milestone gets a really cool piece of swag, and people loved it. Like they got their own like hoodies. I think it was like 25 years or 30 years. And people are like, where do I get that? I'm like, you're going to have to hold on. You're going to have to stick around here. So anytime that we could come up with a reason to give people swag, we do. And it has to be something really cool that people want to wear.
That is great. And I think it says a lot about your district that people want to wear that and want to advertise that I work here. I'm so proud that I work here, and that spouses are like, hey, I'm connected to them too. That's just like such a glowing review of the way that your district operates, that people want to like are so proud of the fact that they work there.
Yeah. And I'll say, like it's those small tokens that go a long way. When people have babies here, we send them onesies that have our district logo on it. So we send that in the mail. When people get married, we have coasters. So they have our school district logo. So we have like, one that says Mr., one that says Miss. So we could like, either like, paired up Mr., Mr., Mrs., 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 Mr. So we send those in the mail. I mean, we're always thinking about like, how can we recognize staff? We've talked about with the hashtag dogs of 112 leads, like maybe we're going to start like, recognizing some of the pets when people, get a new pet, like some type of like swag for them. So it's always just thinking about like, how do we recognize people? And like, everyone loves swag. Like I remember when you guys came to conference, I think it was last year or the year before, with like your Adidas, with like your logo for ASPA on the Adidas. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I loved it.
Well, the staff will be wearing the Adidas logo shoes probably this year, and we won't have those for sale, but we will have ASPA t-shirts with the compass, like the staff wore them last year, and then we'll have some t-shirts with the conference brand on them too, which I'm really excited about. I think those are going to be cool. We don't have dog swag though. I should have thought of that. That I think would probably sell like hotcakes.
I will say something that we've talked about in the office is having like one of those virtual stores where people could buy things, and I think also the key is like we do the tests in the office. It has to be super soft. Like it has to be like, like one of those little tags, the thin ones, like that Bella canvas. And there's many brands like that, because if it feels good and it looks good, you're golden. People are going to wear it. So we have thought about, because people have said like, oh, my sister really liked the hat or that. So we're thinking about like opening up our virtual store so people could purchase it as well.
That is a great idea. What advice do you have for people who are new to social media posting?
Yeah, I have to tell you, it's wild. I was looking back, like, you have your anniversary of social media. I think I started this 11 years ago, before I was even in HR. And I was so nervous to post on social media because, like I said, I didn't have Facebook. I didn't have anything. Twitter was the first platform that I used. And I was thinking like, who wants to know what I have to say? Like nobody. Like, what do I have to post? Like, what am I going to even put out there in the universe? So one, I think like take a risk and do it. Two, I would say start small. Like I actually started with like, just like lurking. So just kind of like looking to see what's out there for a while. I just kind of started to get ideas. And I was also thinking about like my brand is like my personal brand. Like when I post, what do I want to be known for posting? Right. So I don't post negative things. I only post positive things. I mainly post about work, but sometimes personal things as well. But I try to keep it tight in terms of like, like that view of optimism, positivity, like wellness, self-care, obviously promoting our student learning and our amazing staff and leadership. But I started a goal of like, let me post one post a week. And then from one post a week, it started at 2 posts and then 3 posts and to the point where it was a daily post. It's really funny. There's like sometimes times where like I kind of fall off and I haven't like posted like in a couple of days. And I can't believe like people will be like, is everything okay? I haven't seen that you posted. Like, yeah, I'm just super busy. But it took off from there.
You have one of my favorite social media pages because it sounds like you. When I read your tweets, I can like hear your voice. It's like Monica saying that to me. You do a really good job of conveying your personal brand and personal voice through your social media platforms.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think it's really thinking about what you want to put out there. And I will say, there's so many great authors. So I also try to promote, what I'm reading, because I think that like that also just kind of like helps us to continue to grow and learn. And that's what I loved about Twitter. Like I get so many good ideas, like specifically on this topic. I will say like INSPRA is amazing, and NSPRA, the National Association for School PR, like when they have their Twitter chats, like I am constantly lurking, stealing ideas from them. So like that's what I do love about social media, is that not only just like learning from other people, but then also that connectivity. Because I have like DM people before and like, hey, can you tell me more about this? Or like, what ideas do you have? Because sometimes it is a little bit nerve wracking, especially like if you're like me, like communications is not my background, marketing is not my background, but like just like putting yourself out there and like learning from others, there's so much to learn there.
That leads perfectly into my next question, which is who do you look for inspiration on recruiting, storytelling, and branding?
Okay, so she knows this, but I'm going to give a shout out to her. Vicki Larson, out at Harvard School District. She's in Illinois. She is like a rock star, and I love Vicki because she put things out there. She didn't have a communications person, now she does, but like I love their brand is tight, and she's always putting out such great ideas, so positive. They're the Hornets, and like they always have like everything out there, and they're blue and gold, and like she just has a really great way of like sharing a story from Harvard. And I'm always looking for her for inspiration. She knows I steal her ideas, and I love it.
I don't call it stealing, I call it parallel development.
Ooh, I like
Take
that parallel
inspiration
development.
and
Love
then you develop off of that.
it. Love it.
How do you involve your staff in recruiting efforts?
Oh gosh. So I have to tell you, I have an amazing team. I have two executive assistants. I have a teacher on special assignment, Val Keelan, who's amazing. She's in charge of our mentoring program. She facilitates all of our guest teachers. So Val is like my right hand. Like when I come with like crazy ideas, I'm like, hey Val, I'm like, we're going to do this whole recognition ceremony, but I don't want it to be cheesy. I'm like, I want to order like really good pizza, and like, here are some ideas I have for like recognition. And she's like, got it. I'm on it. Like, so she's like my go-to, like when I've got the vision, she'll like put it in place. My executive assistant, Jessica Dubois, is just phenomenal. Like when it comes to, hey, Jess, I've got this idea of a post that I want, but I don't know how to like put this together. Here's my thought. And like, I don't like where like this picture isn't like, clear enough. Like Jess is like my photo editor. It's amazing what she does. And so I think I will say when you learn of your team members' strengths, and you're able to utilize it, they'll do anything. And like, really, it's like, I might come up with ideas, but they are so amazing at putting them together, and spitballing thoughts. So it's not a one-man show here. It's everyone together. I will say like Jessica's so great about like the onesies, like sending those out to people, being on top of it. Val came up with in our weekly newsletter, we do showcase a staff member a week. And so she asked them to like give her their picture, tell a little bit about them. And I think it's like, we're really like intentional about when we do it. Like we have a new payroll manager. So we're like, she's the first one that we want everyone to meet, because how important is it to know like who the money is, right? And like who's going to pay you. But she's really great at coordinating all that. And definitely it takes a team, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like, if you're a school district that doesn't have a communications person, there are people that you could tap to assist you. We happen to have a great new director, Ben Finfer, and I was like, you're in for a ride. I've got a lot of ideas. I need your help. And he's been terrific. He's actually going to be presenting with me next week at ASPA's boot camp. We're going to do a virtual boot camp on this very topic. So it's very apropos that we're meeting today.
I know, I think I'm going to join that session from my office and see what good stuff you guys share, because that sounds like a really good session.
Awesome.
Monica, thank you so much for joining me. I always love chatting with you, but I especially love chatting with you on this topic that we're both pretty passionate about. How can our listeners reach you?
Find me on the platform formerly known as Twitter, X, at MSCHROEDER6. You could also email me, Schroeder, SCHROEDER at nssd1112.org. You could also just look me up on ASPA's website. I happen to be the Region 2 rep. I will be at conference, and I have to tell you, I love conference because I love connecting with people in person. I've gotten in elevators with people before. They're like, I follow you on social media. It's so nice to meet you. So like, I am definitely available. People know that if you direct message me on a social media platform, I'll respond and connect and, be willing to share anything that I talked about today with you.
I am getting so excited for conference as we start getting shipments in at the office. The excitement around here is definitely ramping up. And I'm sure for the attendees, it feels like it's far away. But for me, I'm like, I'm going to wake up and it's going to be conference time. But I think it's going to be a great event this year. And I'm getting really excited.
The team does such an amazing job. Every year I go, I'm like, the bar has been raised. I'm always like, how are they going to top this one? But I have to say, it's one of my favorite conferences in the entire year that I look forward to. And I really think it's so special. Like when we have that new attendee reception and you look around and you're thinking okay, they're in it with us. And these people are like ours. They're going to stick it out with us. And you see how excited they are to be there and finally meet all of us in person. It's a really special time because our positions, prior to us jumping on this podcast, we were talking about HR is the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And when you get together with people who just get it, you understand these are my people, these are my forever people. And I'm just really fortunate that ASPA brings us all together in really fun cities and hosts us and gives us amazing food and excellent PD. I love it.
And you all work in little silos, I always say, and it's such a specific job that you do. It's so fun for me to see you guys come together and be like, there are other people that are in this with me. Somebody else understands this weird, specific, challenging part of my job that my friends and family do not understand. It's so cool to see you guys form those connections.
Yeah, I have to say, we have a very strong state organization in Illinois, IASPA. These are some of my best friends are part of the organization. Nothing beats joining ASPA and meeting people from across the nation. Because when you think oh, we've got a lot in common in the state, you realize across the nation, we have a lot in common. And then when you realize wow, there are superstars that exist beyond Illinois, it's always fun to meet them and those connections. And then on a yearly basis, see them. It's just really something really special. And when I talk to other people outside of HR and education, they don't all have that. So I really find this time is really valuable for me to meet with the ASPA people and conference. And I really appreciate the event, and I appreciate all the time that you and the team put into investing in us and making it a special time for us. So thank you.
Thank you. I love to hear that. Monica, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a great time talking with you, and I'm so excited to see you in just a couple of weeks now in Anaheim.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, Anna. Take care.